The Nigerian Senate has shifted attention to a $3.5 billion budget recovery fund allegedly spent by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. The upper chamber arrived at the decision to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate subsidy recovery fund being managed by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation after the Senate Minority Leader Biodun Olujimi raised Order 42 and 52 of the Senate's standing rule during Tuesday plenary. In her presentation, the Ekiti South representative expressed concern that each fund is being managed by just 2 officials of the NNPC without appropriation. She appealed to her colleague to compare the NNPC to explain how the fund is being managed and give a breakdown of the expenses already made.
Mr. President, the $3.5 billion is being managed by just 2 individuals of the NNPC. And this fund is too huge to be managed without appropriation and recourse to any known law of the land. Be reminded, Mr. President, that during your remarks after the passage of the budget, you mentioned that there should be a budget. You mentioned that there should be a budget for subsidy, and that it should be brought before the National Assembly. That has not been done. Right now, what has happened is that by the report in today's newspaper, it is almost certain that the $3.5 billion is slush fund, which is just being managed by 2 individuals.
Senate resolution, however, did not go down well with Senator Ali Ndume, who alleged that Senator Kabiru Marafa committee might have compromised. 2 APC senators, however, disagree on which committee should investigate the matter.
Taking matters as it comes before the Senate very seriously, because issues like this, when raised, should be looked at seriously. I think the committee, I don't want to be hard on them, but the committee has the responsibility of oversight. And when all these things happen, the committee is supposed to know. So I'm suggesting that Senator Marafa, being the chairman of the committee, should be out of this, and the committee members too. The Senate leader and other members of the Senate should look at this thing objectively, as you say, as on non-partisan basis. Because by the time you have such amount of money stuck somewhere and nobody said anything about it, it calls for more questions.
Mr. President, I have no problem if we are even asked as a committee of downstream to step aside totally, or if it is the wish of the committee of selection that is responsible for appointing people into various committees, that committee of downstream be dissolved today. I have no problem with that, Mr. President. I equally have no problem with the submissions of my colleague, Senator Ali Ndume, but I have serious exceptions when he said that the committee compromised. I take serious exception to that one. Mr. President, let it be on record that this Senate ordered the investigation of this subsidy matter, and in your wise counsel, you splitted this issue into 2, giving the Committee of Public Accounts to look into this issue of subsidy, while the downstream sector was given the responsibility of looking into the volumes and so on of this same matter. Mr. President, now for somebody to come now and say that 2 people, with due respect to my colleagues, are managing, subsidy program, I don't think that is correct. And equally wicked is the assertion that the committee compromised. I take serious exception of that.
President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, asked the leader of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, to chair the committee to look into the issue. Lawan, however, rejected the offer of chairing the committee.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'm using my privilege to decline to serve on that committee. I hold my integrity very dearly. I have worked for it over the years. and I don't want my integrity rubbished. Therefore, I decline. But let me also advise us that this Senate is representative of Nigeria. We are here on behalf of all Nigerians. What we do and how we conduct ourselves here is a big deal. Matters not only to us, but to those we represent. I will therefore advise that no matter how strongly and deeply we feel about any issue, please, let's conduct ourselves with that respect that we are known for. This is the highest lawmaking body in Nigeria. To do otherwise is to take our work here lightly. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, thank you for the confidence, but I'm not going to serve on this committee.
In his ruling, Senator Saraki pleaded with the Senate leader to take up the responsibility.
Why I directed or decided that you should be there, this matter is a matter that is very, very weighty. And as we said earlier on this morning, this matter is something that needs to be looked at in a non-partisan manner. And I said that the best way to do that is under the leader of the Senate. I don't want something that is partisan in this matter. We cannot be running a figure of $3.8 billion and we do not do anything decisive about it. We have already started the process. Public accounts, I'm sure I've done a lot of work on it. Manafa has done it, but it needs to be guided and taken safely to a point of where it needs to be done. So let the committee do it. But at the end of the day, before it comes back to us, it needs to be guided at your level of leadership. Interact with the agencies and guide us properly to be able to tell us that, listen, these are the facts, so that we don't come here and speculate. So I want to appeal to you that let the committees under your guidance, they will do their work. Let it come to you, and then at the end of the day, you present it to us. Because when you speak and talk, we know that what you are saying are facts, they are real, they're authentic, and it's not partisan. So I'm afraid that part of responsibility too is that, yes, people will make this, but the matter is too serious for us. When we started talking about this thing, it was only about $1 billion. Now the thing is growing every day, and I think that as a Senate, we need to do that. So the committees that are responsible for it, please, let us remove all these comments. This matter is too serious. Let us do it professionally, and let us put this matter to rest. It's very, very important, because once we are divided like this, the agencies will continue doing as they wish, and I think that's not in the interest of Nigerians.
The Senate President, Bolga Saraki, directed the constituted committee chair by Senate Majority Leader to look into the issue and report back to the Senate next week. The newly sworn-in governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, says it will promote and ensure sustainable development and review the commercial advantage of abandoned projects in the state with a view of reviving them. Fayemi made the pledge on Tuesday in Ado-Ekiti, shortly after taking oath of office for the second time as governor of the state. Until his re-election at the July state governorship election, he was Minister of Solid Minerals Development, from where he resigned to contest the election. He secured 197,000 votes to defeat his closest challenger, Olushola Eleka of the People Democratic Party. Fayemi won the election in the 12 of the 16 local government areas in the state, while Eleka won in 4 local government areas. Fayemi, in his inaugural speech, thanked the people of the state for giving him the mandate to govern them again. He said his inauguration marked the beginning of an era of great achievement and development, an administration that will also speak out the truth and lay it before the people. He, however, maintained that his coming back to office was not a revenge mission, but to heal and ensure true development in the state in the interest of the people. The governor said that his administration would take full responsibility of the challenge ahead, stressing that he would not rest until every challenge facing the state, including non-payment of workers' salary, was addressed. Supporters of former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, besieged the office of Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, in Abuja in solidarity of the former governor. Fayose, whose tenure as governor of the state ended on Monday, reported at the EFCC office to honor an earlier invitation by the commission. The ex-Ekiti State governor, whose tenure expired midnight on Monday, was seen visiting the EFCC with his bedclothes and pillowcase as he earlier promised to do. He assured the commission that he would present himself at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and at the precise 12:59 p.m. the former governor showed up at the commission's Wuse office in Abuja. He was accompanied by Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers and former Minister of Aviation Femi Fani-Kayode.
October, in Hema and Haiti, and I believe that CFCC know as well. I fear from the intelligence report we have that he may be harmed. Whenever Nigerians know that he came by himself to EFCC without anybody harassing him. So that's why I brought him here today. We are all here to stand in complete solidarity with our friend and brother. And as you can see, as His Excellency said, he is going in hale and hearty. We trust God and we believe that he will come out the same way. And take note of the fact that the international community and the whole world is watching what is going to happen here and what they're going to do to him.
Before Fayose's arrival, some of his supporters and right activists had thrown the EFCC premises. The supporter wore T-shirt with inscription as Fayose, bold, dogged, constant, and Fayose, the conscience of Nigeria. One of the supporters and human rights activist and lawyer, Mike Ozekome, who addressed newsmen, said this is a government governed by constitutionalism and a constitutional democracy. He said the government should not infer fear in him and the people, saying that Fayose is here, he has reported to EFCC. Ozekome further alleged that once a person becomes to APC, he becomes politically clean of his political leprosy.
To add to what just before the financial day, I said, this is a country governed by rule of law, by law, not by rule of the thumb. We are not in the Hobbesian state of nature, where life was short, nasty, and brutal, where gangsterism reigns supreme. Fayose told the FCC he will be coming today. He gave them the time. He has even arrived before the time. So this one we have been doing media trial is unnecessary. He is here now. If they want to eat his meat, we want to watch them eat his meat. This is a country governed by constitutionalism, a constitutional democracy. The government should not instill fear in the people of Nigeria. Thomas Jefferson, ex-American president, once said, you know a good government when the government fears the people. But when the people fear their government, then there's tyranny. Nigeria is in tyranny today. And there's a need for us to remove this tyranny from us. When you say here, we have reported to EFCC. Let me close by saying, nobody should be afraid of the EFCC. Especially when you have nothing to hide. I remain courageous for Nigeria. And I will stand in the space for Nigeria. Because this country belongs to all of us. So we must take our country.
Meanwhile, the EFCC has put the immediate past governor of Ekiti, Ayodele Fayose, into custody, saying he has questions to answer.
President Muhammadu Buhari says the shared aspiration that makes Nigerian youth dare both the Sahara Desert and Mediterranean Sea, or for the bid to take up a menial job in Europe, is hurting the pride of the country. The president made a statement at the State House in Abuja during a farewell audience with the outgoing High Commissioner of the Republic of Namibia. The Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, blames illegal exodus to Europe as great risk to lives and lives, and that the government will do their best to make our country livable again. The outgoing High Commissioner, who spent 4 years and 11 months in Nigeria, says the country has become a second home for himself and his family, and that he enjoyed great support in carrying out his duties, that he returns home with great satisfaction, that the both countries are more ready for intra-African trade and exchange of state visits by the leaders. He added that both countries have a lot in common, that African can only be developed by African themselves. From Abuja, Osadari Zedomi reporting. The governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, says he is against the choice of the former governor, Peter Obi, as the running mate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar. Umahi made this known at an interview with a journalist in Abakaliki, the state capital, where he cleared the air that he is only against the process and not Obi, who he noted to be very competent for the job. The governor also expressed dissatisfaction on the imbalance in the initial 5 men shortlisted for the VP candidacy, which he said he has no person from the Imo and Ebonyi states. However, he questioned how people from other regions made to take decisions that concern the Southeast without the input of a single person from the region. Umahi says he has a good relationship with Mr. Obi and said he has no regret on his action in the aftermath of Obi's selection.
Nigeria's inflation rose for the second time this year to 11.28% year-on-year in September from 11.23% recorded in August. In the latest Consumer Price Index report released by the National Bureau of Statistics, the figure indicates 0.05% higher than the rate recorded in August. According to the report, Composite Food Index rose to 13.31% year-on-year in September, driven by increase in the price of poultry products, vegetables, and other important food items. Also, the country's urban inflation rate increased to 11.70% year-on-year, while the rural inflation rate increased to 10.92%. On the month-on-month basis, the headline index dropped by 0.21% to 0.84% in September. Food sub-index fell by 0.42 percentage points to 1.00%, while the urban index and rural index both fell by 0.14 to 1% and 0.82% each.